Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining this fourth seminar in this series. And thank you for joining the others as well. And I hope that we've been able to help in some way with looking after your well-being in various different forms over the last few weeks. I hope you had a great half term last week. I was able to switch off and do something different. And I hope the beginning of your new term in school, a busy term ahead, has started really well, and that you are looking after yourselves at the start of this new term as well, with different changes in the weather and everything else. But today, I'd like to share some thoughts with you around revision and revising for exams, and you'll be going through this process over the next few months and everything else, and on and off. So hopefully there'll be a few things that we can share this afternoon with you that might help for you to think differently maybe, and to try differently. And don't wait for your exams to try some of these. Try some of them when you're doing homework, or maybe when you're doing homework in the week and things. So just some thoughts that I'd like to share. And I've gone back to the days, when I was doing exams and thinking what would have helped me back then with hindsight, and that's always a useful thing. And some of these things that would have really helped, and I hope that they'll make sense to you when we go through them. So there's a bit of a list. You don't have to do them all, but maybe pick one or two that you think might be most useful for you. So the first one I want to start with is find a balance. And very often when we go through a period of revision of exams, or when we've got a lot of work on, we tend to throw ourselves in and sometimes forget everything else. Forget everything else that's around us, and we're not going to maybe somebody's birthday party because they've got to revise and all that type of stuff. But it's really important to find the right balance between doing enough revision and also doing the things that you enjoy doing, and that life is part of life as well. Because when we don't do that, we tend to become ingrained in one thing, and that's where stress can happen. That's where we get a bit overwhelmed. And I see a lot of clients, for example, that feel overwhelmed with work sometimes, and it's because we've cut a lot of other things out of our lives. The other things in life, the enjoyment things in life, the things that we enjoy doing, help us to work better. So because we get a break. So when we do go through a period of revising for exams, when that time does come, when you're building your revision timetable, make sure that you're balancing some other stuff in there as well, okay, to give a counterbalance, okay, which is really important. The second one, how does your brain work best? Now, we've all got a brain, thankfully, but we all work better in different ways and different times and in different places. So what I want you to consider and think about is, when are you at your best? When are you at your most alert? When are you at your most creative? When do you take the most information in? And I'll give you a personal example. We're doing these sessions evening time and late afternoon. That's not the best time for me. Yeah, I'm working really hard at being upbeat now, because it's not the best time for me. I'm a morning person. I love mornings. I know some of you are looking at me now thinking, oh, really? But I do. It's my time. It's always been my best time. I take the most information in. I can do the most work. I'm more alert, and I'm not an afternoon person. So so if I was creating a revision timetable now, and I'm home and have time at home to revise, I would be doing most revision. I'd be balancing my revision for the morning, because that's when I'm at my best, and I'd be having a break in the afternoon and then maybe doing something later on in the evening. But I would certainly be looking at, when do I work my best, because then I feel like I'm doing more. I feel like alert. Okay, so just question yourself, when are you at your best? Ask your mother, ask your parents, ask your friends, ask your family, when are they at their best? And just to get an interest in that, okay? Thirdly, an important part is stay in touch with your friends. Again, when we go through periods of there's a lot on and we're revising, we tend to forget everything else. We tend to shut things out. But stay in touch with friends. Have some check-in times together, whether that's on WhatsApp, Snapchat, whatever the right social media platform is now, or even better face to face. But have some check-in times. How are you doing? How did you revise this morning? How did it go? Oh, I'm struggling with this. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. So am I. Check-in times, because when we revise alone, and when we feel alone a lot of the time, or when we're doing these things, that's when a bit of anxiety can creep in. That's when maybe a bit of self-doubt can creep in, thinking, oh, am I doing the right thing? But if we pick up the phone, we can see something and say, well, I'm doing this, is that right? Well, I'm doing that as well. Right, okay. You get a bit of confidence. Anxiety goes away. And I think I mentioned in another presentation that anxiety, when you talk a problem, when you share a problem, when you share a concern, anxiety goes away because you're helping to get an answer, you're helping to get a solution. So stay in touch with friends, it's really important. And they'll appreciate that as well. Okay. Fourthly, now this is something I'm not, so I'm telling you to do it, or I'm giving you some advice to do it, but I'm not very good at it. But be organized. The brain likes us to be organized. The brain likes organization, knows what it's doing, and looking at things. Okay, so for example, if you're revising today for if you're revising mathematics today, you just need your mathematics papers. Try and put everything else away. So you're not looking at, oh, there's English over there, there's biology over there, oh, look at that physics pile over there, whatever, right? Just have the stuff you need. I had a friend who, I can remember her revising, and her desk was covered in papers and books, and I looked at it and I felt a bit anxious. I think, oh God, try and have the stuff you need. Be organized. Have your timetable. Plan your timetable. The same as me, I have my work diary. My work diary is planned out. I have my breaks in my diary. I have my lunchtime in my diary. I have a break penciled in. I have all the things I need to do, so I know exactly what I'm doing and when to do them. And that really helps me know, right, this is today. Yeah, this is when I work, this is when I don't work. And then think about being organized. Okay, think about having those periods of time where you have your breaks and everything penciled in. Eat well, rest, keep hydrated, and keep active. Wow, what a list, right? It is a big list, but let's take one by one because they're important. Eating well is really important when you have a lot on, when you're revising, when you've got a lot of work to do. And eating very often depends on how we feel. So if I eat a large meal at lunchtime, for example, well, in the afternoon I'm tired, I don't want to do any work because I feel a bit, oh. So I tend to eat quite light stuff at lunchtime, so I've got more energy. Eating well, eating vegetables, eating lots of good stuff for us, and then linked in with that is keeping hydrated, drinking plenty of water. Keeping hydrated is really important for our mental health. It keeps us alert, it reduces tiredness and fatigue, it reduces headaches, and gives us more energy. Okay, so eating well and keeping hydrated during those times are really important. And think of foods that make you feel energized. Think of foods that don't make you feel sluggish as such. Okay, and then rest and active. So both sort of different things, but I suppose I often encourage people when they go through periods of work and revision and lots on, to work in slots, to work in periods of 20 to 30 minutes. So say that you had a really powerful revision slot of 20 minutes, and then you had a 5 to 10 minute break. 20 minutes, 5-10 minute break. And then repeat, okay? And in that 5 to 10 minute break, you might want to go for some fresh air, you might want to go for a walk around the block just to get your head clear, or you might want some rest. Either way, it depends how you feel. But when you come back from the break, you will look at the work a little bit differently. You look at it again with a fresh pair of eyes, thinking, oh yeah, I'll read that again. Yeah, I missed that the first time, or I'm reading that differently this time, or that's gone in from the first time, okay? Because if you're going to sit there and revise 2 or 3 hours without a break, it's not going to work. Your brain is tired. It'll stop taking in information. It will just stop. So try what is called, and you can Google it, it's called the Pomodoro technique. Okay, so the Pomodoro technique, and it's about working really hard for a period of time, 20 to 30 minutes, and then having a break. Again, having a break. And then the break can be whatever you need it to be. It could be a rest break, could be like 5-10 minutes of just, close my eyes and listen to some music, or lie in the bed for 5 minutes. Or it could be the fact you actually, you know what, I need some fresh air. And especially this time of year, if you're revising now before Christmas, it is important to get some fresh air and get some vitamin D and some daylight and sunlight. So really important 4 things there. Eat well and hydration together. And please don't skip meals because you need the energy, okay? And then rest and keep active. The next point, I talk a lot to people who work from home regarding this, and especially after the pandemic and COVID, is about separating where you revise and where you rest, or where you revise and live, or revise and chill out. Because if you're revising in your bedroom and then you're chilling out in your bedroom and you've still got the books and papers, it doesn't feel like a rest, does it? You're still in it. You're still there looking at the things, thinking, oh, I should be doing that now. So try and revise somewhere, and then come away from that room, come away from that, and go somewhere else to rest, to chill, to talk, to watch TV or whatever. And you can close the door on it. And it's the same when I work from home. I work in this room, and when I leave here, I close the door on it and go and watch TV in another room, or go and play with our little boy in another room. Otherwise, it feels like the work is always around me. And it's important to have that break. It's important to have that separation, okay? And if you do revise in your bedroom, please put the work away before you go to bed. So clear the work, put it away in a drawer, put it away in a desk, put it away somewhere, so you're not going to bed looking at the papers, because that will stop you sleeping. So clear the decks and put stuff away, okay? Bit like staying in touch with friends, one of the things I suppose that I look back on, I wish I'd done more of, is set up some study groups. Set up some groups where you can come together and revise together a little bit maybe, but more than that, share, contrast, and think, well, okay, I learned this today, so did I. I think, oh, but I didn't pick that point up. Great, okay. And talk amongst each other so you learn together. And there will be this in schools. Obviously, in schools will do that as well. But do your own. Do your own amongst your group of friends. Try not to do it online. Try to do it face to face if you can. Yeah, try to meet somewhere face to face. And just a bit like we spoke last week of the digital detox and cutting down some time on that. Try to meet face to face. It's so much better because the interaction is better. You talk better. You smile at each other, and you can laugh, which you can't do on even an emoji laugh isn't the same, is it, as a proper laugh? Okay, so maybe just think about setting up some study groups. Maybe just think about sharing, and all that helps with things like anxiety and stress. And I mentioned this in a previous presentation, but if you're feeling anxious or stressed or worried, the worst thing you can do is not share that worry. Because if we keep the worry inside us, it just grows. But once we share it, once we say, I'm worried about this, then somebody can help us. There's an answer, there's a solution, or there's a way to talk around it, and the worry goes away. The anxiety disappears. So you can set up a study group to help you, to help other people. You might know somebody else that's struggling and the study group would help them, but it will also help you. So think about that maybe. Achievable goals. Really important that you set yourself some achievable goals, okay? And come back to the point about working in slots of 20, 30 minutes as well. And, I often hear a lot of people, not just people rising from exams, saying, "Oh, I'm going to do X, Y, Z by this time. I'm going to, think about what we do to ourselves. I'm going to lose 5 stone by Christmas." Well, we're not, do we? I'm going to run a marathon by this time next month or whatever. Set yourself achievable goals and achieve them. If the goal is too big, if the goal is too wide, if the goal is too big, very often we fail and then we feel terrible. We don't feel great. I'll be talking to people before long about New Year's resolutions. It's a great one, isn't it? Every new year, you'll hear people say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then 2 weeks in, oh, no, it doesn't work, and I failed. Oh, well. Right? Achievable goals. Set yourself some achievable goals and achieve them. Move on, set another goal, achieve it, move on. It's better to have lots of small goals than one huge one. The last but one, don't compare yourself to other people. Now, when I spoke about the digital detox presentation, I mentioned Instagram and everything else. And, you know, it's the same thing, isn't it, with revision? People will say things to you and we accept it. Sometimes we just accept that everything is right and sometimes it's not. So please don't compare yourself to other people. Do your own thing. Work to your own program. Everyone is unique. Like I said at the beginning, everybody works differently. Everybody has different strengths of concentration. Everybody likes to work in different ways. Everyone is unique. Nobody's the same. So you can't compare because we're all different. There's nothing to compare to. So just be careful that you don't take in too much information with the person. Well, I did 6 hours last night, and oh God, I need an hour. Your hour could very well be much more powerful than 6 hours together. Yeah, okay. So just be careful. Share information, get together as a group, help each other, but just be careful you don't compare. And the last one I want to talk about before we finish, and I'm finishing in 20 minutes because I want to, because I'm going to set you a bit of a challenge at the end. Treat yourself. It is really important to be kind to ourselves when we're going through a bit of a challenging time and a bit of a time where it's not the most fun stuff, is it? Right? So make sure you design a treat list. I have a treat list. This is mine. So at the end of a week, or if I've had a particularly bad day or a long day, I have a list of stuff that I think, yeah, those are the things I like doing. So, for example, on my list is some Netflix programs, my favorite food, all those type of things. And I think, right, it's been a particularly bad day. So tonight I'm going to have 2 episodes of something on Netflix because I like watching one, or I can't just watch one. So that's my treat. And it makes me feel, oh, it's been a difficult day, it's been a challenging day, but hey, that's done, and I'm going to have myself a treat. It's really important because you deserve it. You're going to work really hard. You're going to give lots of time to this revision. So really important you balance that out. So the first thing and last thing, you balance that out with some nice stuff as well. Okay, because then you feel better, and if you're feeling better, you work better. If you're feeling more energized, you'll work better, and you'll have something to look forward to. So make sure when you do your timetable and you've got all the work in there, where's the treat stuff as well. So yeah, have the balance in that timetable, right? Color code it. The treat stuff could be gold, right? And put that in the timetable. So I mentioned earlier about the Pomodoro technique, working in slots of 20 to 30 minutes and having a break. So the challenge I've got for you is, I've gone through this presentation, you've listened, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't mean too long, so you've been able to stay alert for the 20 minutes. But I want you to take a 5 or 10 minute break now, go and do something, go and have a rest, or or do some activity, and then come back to, if you want to take a screenshot of the slide, whatever you want to do, come back to it and read it again. Yeah, come back to it and read it again or listen again, so that you then can think, well, what didn't I hear the first time, or what am I hearing differently the second time? Now that I've heard it the first time, I've had a break, so my brain is a bit has a chance to compute it and had a break. I'm now listening again. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I didn't hear that the first time, or actually that's the one, or yeah, and that's the type of thing we could do with our revision, a bit differently maybe. Working in small sections, but powerful sections. So the 20 minutes, you don't stop, then have a break, so and so. So hopefully there's some stuff in there. Share it with friends for those people that haven't seen this presentation, or maybe not yet. So tell them about it, because there might be the one thing in there that'll help them. So it's not a secret. Share it out. with other people. But look, really important that you look after your well-being and your mental health. Do things that make you feel good. Look after yourselves. Yeah, taking breaks, making sure that if you're feeling a little bit uneasy, feeling a little bit anxious or stressed, talk to somebody. Tell somebody how you feel so somebody else can help you, like you would help somebody else. So thank you for listening to today. I wish you a really well week ahead. Make sure that you get some sunlight and vitamin D, because it's dark early in the evenings, and we need to make sure that we get some nice fresh air when the sunlight's out during the day. So thank you for listening. I wish you well and look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon. So thank you.